I was running for the state senate, and I think it was something along the lines of, well, I want to help people. And she looked at me and she said, no, really, why don't you run for the senate?
That's not like you.
And I sort of said, well, you know, I mean, people were struggling and I want to help them. And then it was, no, seriously, why are you running for the state senate? She was absolutely right in asking that question. And it's a question that every candidate has to be able to answer. And I think Scott has that answer, which is why we're here today. Scott, I was thinking about this as we were traveling up from Boonville. I was thinking of 10 years ago, I was finishing my last year as governor. The state was prosperous. The state was headed in the right direction. We had reversed for the first time in 70 years the out-migration of young people. There was enthusiasm and excitement for a new energy future for the state. There was additional support for our K-12 system and an expansion of early childhood and preschool. There was an expansion of health insurance coverage for mental illness. We were headed in the right direction. And because of that, in the 2006 election, we elected a Democratic governor and we elected a Democratic legislature. Fast forward 10 years, and where are we today? You know, sadly, we're not where we need to be. And Scott understands that. And that's why he's running. He understands that we can do better. I started thinking about this and I thought to myself, you know, there's something that is unique and special about being an Iowan. And I've had just an incredible experience. And I should start every meeting I have with Iowans by thanking them for the incredible opportunities that you all gave me, not only to be governor, but my current job. It's allowed me to travel all over the world and all over this great country. And I understand something unique about us. First of all, I understand that we are absolutely committed to the next generation of Iowans. We really genuinely believe we have a responsibility to make sure that our children and grandchildren have a better life than we have. People say that that's what Americans, but it's very, very central to the experience of being an Iowan, which is why we are so supportive of education. Secondly, we are rooted to our land and to our water. It defines who we are. As people outside of Iowa think of Iowa, they think of us in terms of our natural resources. And we are committed to making sure that they are dealt with in a sustainable way. And finally, because we don't have any professional sports teams, we look at our universities and we think to ourselves that they help to allow the rest of the world to know a little bit about who we are. Now, what's happened in all three of those areas in the last 10 years? We have a legislature and a governor that allowed a veto of education funding for our K-12 system. We have a legislature that has inadequately funded our K-12 system. So now schools struggle mightily. And it's not just the K-12 system, it's the community college system, it's the university system as well. We can do better. If you look at Scott's website, education is a critical part of why he's running. Secondly, our natural resources. Everybody knows we got an issue with water in this state. You know, and my good friend Danny Spellman's here. Danny, where are you?
Right here.
All right. Forgive me for saying this for just a second. This is one lawsuit that I don't necessarily support. and the reason I don't, I've kept my law right.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the neck to have to do that.
We have a place for you.
Okay. Look, I understand and appreciate the necessity of having a justice system that speaks to and gives people a chance. But in this particular case, this lawsuit has divided Iowans. It's divided rural, farm, city folk. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. We are people who are committed to this landscape. And we need leadership and leaders who understand the necessity of finding creative solutions that bring us together, that don't necessitate litigation over something as critical and central to who we are as our land and water. Scott understands that. You take a look at his website. What's right behind education? It's water quality. He knows it takes leadership and creative thought to get this resolved. It doesn't take litigation. Iowans can do better than that. And and we need to do better. And finally, our university system, you know, it is a great system, but it's been politicized. For the first time, Jim Reardon knows this. Jim was in the Senate with me. You know, even we had a fuss and fight over Pomerantz and all those folks, you know. But it was never really as politicized as it is now. The Board of Regents has a political agenda. That's reflected in how the leadership of our universities has been selected recently. It's how its budgeting has gone. And if we're going to continue to have a great university system, then we need a legislature that will check the governor for the next couple of years, and then we need a change of leadership at the governor's office.
Yeah.
So this election of this young man is about who we are, what we stand for, what we value. It's that important. Now this election is it's a funny election year.
Ridiculous.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And we as Democrats, we as Americans have a really, really, really important decision to make. And as our party has been going through this primary process and we've been divided, we have no time for division now. It's time to unite. And it's time to understand that there's an opportunity for us. Yesterday I was with the Cuban agricultural minister, and we were touring an ethanol plant. And I was being driven around in a golf cart by one of the ethanol guys, and he said to me, you know, he said, I live with a Democrat, he said, sort of, as if that was a difficult thing. I didn't respond to that. I waited for what was next. He said, but I got to tell you, he said, that I'm having a hard time. He said, usually we cancel each other out. I'm having a hard time. He said, I can't wait for this election to be over. There is a voter who is open for the first time, maybe ever, to voting Democrat. So if we have a unified party, if we have candidates like Scott talking about education, talking about water quality, talking about a great university system, reflecting our values, and we unite as a party from the top of the ticket down, there is a very good chance that when we wake up the day after the election, we not only have elected a Democrat as president, but we have begun the process of turning this state back to where it was and where it needs to be in the future.